Do you smell that? Is that glaze? What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Hey, another fun fact, Satoru Gojo is perfect. Okay, is it? I mean, yeah. Yeah, like, cause is he not? Is he not? But welcome to my thoughts, aka a series where a long form yapper tries to yap in the short form. So let me start this 10-minute timer so we can break Gojo down into 3 things: his narrative role, his character, and his power scaling, and how I feel about all of it. And to start off with the big one, the narrative. How do I put this in a way that doesn't sound hyperbolic? Gojo is the most important character from the modern cast not named Itadori Yuji. By like a long shot. And you can argue he's even more important because the entire back half of the series is built around sealing that man away in a box. The main villains couldn't operate as main villains until the man was sealed away. Y'all, I feel like this is common, but the narrative is built around the man. He is an active narrative threat. Like him existing suppresses the narrative to the point where the author and the in-universe characters were like, we cannot function with this man in existence. We're gonna ban him from the life server. And they banned him from the life server for over half the darn manga. And then proceeded to unseal him and slaughter him 13 chapters later because he was still that much of a narrative threat. And that is impressive, to say the very least. Now, do I like that Gojo had to be removed from the plot? It's one of those, I mentioned this before, it's one of those back and forths I have. And once again, I'll do a full, complete reread and do a full narrative analysis of Gojo and a character analysis. And once again, maybe my thoughts will change. But admittedly, my thoughts on Gojo being written out of the plot for a majority of it, it's one of those things I respect, but I still kind of don't like, but I respect it. It's like the right choice. Like, notably, if you were to ask me, hey, how do you write around Gojo without removing him from the plot? I'd look at you and be like, ask a better writer, because I can't think of it. Because that's the thing. Gojo is written to be so powerful that the plot can't function and the characters can't express themselves to their fullest potential. If Gojo never gets sealed, the plot can't happen. It's just the case. Like, I've tried to write multiple what ifs with Gojo not getting sealed. You cannot have the culling games. Kenjaku doesn't live. Sugata doesn't get out. Like, so many things break if Gojo isn't sealed away. So many things break if the narrative's back half isn't built around sealing Gojo. Like, so much just goes wrong. And that, to have a side character be that narratively important, and it makes sense within the context of the universe, to the point where I can only glaze the author for writing out their own narrative problem, I think that's perfect. I think that's, what do you do? Like, genuinely, I've even asked some people, like, what would you do? Like, how do you write around your powerful characters? Because when I try to write around my powerful characters and my narratives, I landlock them. I'm like, they can't leave this, or once again, I kind of like Geika, I just write about the plot. I'm like, due to their nature, they are not allowed to leave this realm without destroying all of reality. So, they gotta stay there. They gotta stay there. They may want to help our main characters, but then they destroy all of creation, so they can't do that. So, legitimately, I respect the narrative weight and heft that Gojo has. And once again, narratively, he's the embodiment of the themes next to Yuji. That's why Yuji ends up just becoming the next Gojo, not in terms of raw power, but in terms of character, mentality, and influence by the end of the manga. Because he just fits into all the themes. The idea of strength and isolation from it. The idea of connection and what the loss of connection can do to a person. The endless desire for human connection that exists within all human beings. Legitimately, Gojo is perfectly narratively situated, even though, in the grand scheme of things, he's barely in the narrative. I bet if you were to compile all of Gojo's screen time, it probably comes out to about 30 chapters. This 270 chapter manga, Gojo's probably in about 30 chapters of it total. Cover to cover. All volume. Legit, that is crazy to say, but that's how it is. Yet he's still so important. He's still so well integrated. He's still so well built into the plot that, he's literally narrative peak. I don't know. I genuinely don't have any idea how I would improve Gojo's narrative presence without actively breaking the plot as we know it. But of course, not talking about this narrative glaze. Who cares about narrative? What about Gojo as a character? He's perfect there too. He's perfect there too. And it feels weird just sitting back and glazing. Typically I want to have some critiques, but what critique do I have about Gojo? Oh no, he made mistakes because he's a flawed character, aka the best kind of character you always want to write because perfect characters are boring. Oh, You mean to tell me the man was caught off guard by seeing the friend he personally watched die appear in front of him, and then had his own perception used against him by a guy who literally wrote the plot in universe? Crazy. That's okay. Oh, you mean to tell me the guy who may or may not even be able to see dismantles was sliced in half by one because he just pulled off something absolutely insane? The King of Curses looked like he was defeated? Oh, that's crazy. Gojo's humanity and his failures, especially even all the way back in the Hidden Inventory arc with the failure of actually protecting Amanai, all of that works to add to his character. That balance that goes to show no matter how strong you are, no matter how fast you are, I can see the future, and you don't live to see tomorrow. That's Gojo literally did. But with it being the case, it allows for this perfect balance where Gojo is simultaneously defined yet not defined by his strength. He's really defined by what his strength doesn't allow him to do. His strength didn't allow him to save Geto. His strength didn't allow him to protect Amanai. His strength didn't allow him to defeat Sukuna. His strength provided and facilitated for so many other characters, literally built the entire plot around it, and he knows that, and he struggles with that fact ad infinitum to the point where on his, not even deathbed, like in the afterlife, he's like, hey, I wish you were still here. He was so heavily burdened by the isolation that was given to him by his power, that ultimately Satoru Gojo is the strongest. And he's not just, the guy's trying to mess up the quote entirely, but still, essentially Gojo's a really, really good character. Like, to the point where I don't think you could improve him, and he's a character who's genuinely completed by his death. As a guy who once really, really hated how Gojo was done, I thought it was whack, I thought it was stupid, I thought it was dumb, I now appreciate it. Now, of course, that's because, time softens, but I also just get it narratively. It wouldn't have really been narratively satisfying for Gojo to defeat Sukuna. It wouldn't have been character satisfying, it would have been good for really anything. Unless you really want to dive into Kenny being the main villain, and unfortunately there just wasn't enough setup into that. The way the narrative functions, Gojo dying in 236 off screen actually just makes perfect sense. And it is infinitely more memorable that he died off screen than anything that Gege could have actually shown us. That's my opinion. I know some people are going to find that crazy, some people are going to find that bogus bonkers, but that's how I feel, and that just is what this is all about. But speaking of what it's all about, let's talk about power scaling. He's number 2 in the verse. He's number 2. And I know some people are going to be like, and I see this argument all the time. Well, no, it's not even mocking, because once again, everyone has their own opinion. So, I've seen the argument, Sukuna was smarter and more experienced, Gojo had more raw power. I don't know. I've always, especially because we know how much the physical body affects you in JJK, they mention this numerous times, not just Mei, Sukuna brings this up, and who knows more than Sukuna, Kenjaku brings this up, the idea of not being in a battle-ready body, ultimately, your body affects you a whole bunch. If Gojo and Sukuna were relative while Sukuna was trapped in the body of a 15-year-old boy, then the full, hulking, four-armed, beefy mass of Heian body Sukuna is stronger than Gojo. Shakur, who won the fight, gosh darn it. But ultimately, Gojo just still viciously violates the entire rest of the verse. It's not rocket science. There's no one else in the verse that can beat him. Heck, there are few characters who could even beat Awakened Teen Gojo. A lot of characters will try, Maki can't beat Pre-Awakened Teen Gojo. Yeah, fully realized, post-Sakurajima, Shinjuku, Maki, yeah, she can't beat Pre-Awakened Teen Gojo. She has no way to get through Infinity. And a whole bunch of characters don't have a way to get past that. So, Gojo, in his weakest variation, is still one of the strongest characters in this universe. At his peak, he's just number 2. Solidly. And if you have him at number 1, I'm not gonna knock your hustle. You can use the external narrative statements, you can make the arguments about power versus mentality and technique. There are ways you can do it, I just don't personally align with it. Because that's just me. That's me. But I don't knock people for believing what they want to believe. But personally, I got Gojo at number 2, and he violates everybody else. It's as simple as that. It ain't the most complicated power scaling thing out there. And ultimately, I like it. There's no, and in fact, I actually do like the ever-eternal debate between Gojo and Sukuna. I think Gege did a fantastic job of making it so it would be an internal debate, even though we literally saw the fight end on panel. There will be discussions of Gojo versus True Form Sukuna when my grandkids are born. I'm not married. So with that being the case, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave King-Eyed Blue. I don't know why. Leave King-Eyed Blue in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that notification so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you don't have a Patreon down below, where you can support me for as well as $1 a month, and things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, here with the series I am to review, ad variations of all my videos, and if you become a $20 Patreon or a $20 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You drop 5 beans for a short video, 200 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier XZ, Zara, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Gyomi, Yuki Ally, Buddha Uda, Azo 2404, Planet Crone, G Prosper, Nevis 97, and Ollie. I'd like to give a big old thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Nirvana Igneal, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our Ink tier members: Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchia, Carlo Alaimo, and Grim. And then I'd like to give a big old hefty thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And then I'd like to give a big old thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Wakimunos and Wakimunos. And then I'd finally like to give a giga super duper kidney sacrificing thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a heart on the horizon, Calvin Elder.